Hi, I'm Danny Ramos, and welcome back to Speakout TV on Bright House 49 every Tuesday night. And I'm here with the Kilt Girls. Now, who are the Kilt Girls? The Kilt Girls are the waitresses and servers of the new Kilt restaurant on University, about a mile before the entrance to UCF on University. Great restaurant. Tell us a little bit about Kilt.
So it's a Kilt. It's a pub and eatery. It's a sports bar, and we have a full menu. It's not just a bar. It's a restaurant as well.
Okay, and what do you do there?
I'm a server.
And what do you do there?
I'm a server.
Okay. I've eaten at Kilt. I've had the pleasure of eating at Kilt. And Kilt, unlike other sports bars, really has a delicious food menu. And I've eaten, and every time I go, and I've been there about 6 or 7 times, I order something different. And every time, it doesn't fail. It's really good food.
It's awesome. We eat there on our days off.
You do?
Go in there on our days off and eat. Yeah.
And how many, I hear that you guys have a great selection of different kinds of beers.
Got 24 different beers on tap, full liquor bar.
And the beers are all
Specials
imported
daily.
from different countries and stuff?
Yeah, we have 24 different beers on tap, about 6 domestics, everything else imports.
We also have beer tubes.
Okay, the
Yeah,
beer tubes.
100 ounces of beer.
100 ounce beer
100 ounces of
tubes.
So you can share a tube at
and
a
it's
table.
like this gigantic tube with a spigot on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's really
You
different.
can pour
I haven't
your
seen
own
that in a
beers.
sports bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you
We
have
have
loads.
karaoke on Tuesday nights.
Okay, and you have loads of TV sets for the sports.
Tons of
We
TVs.
do.
You could see like 20 different games at one
We
time.
also have 2 projected movie theater type screens.
Yeah, those things are huge.
Huge.
Really huge. One of the things that you guys do, you're very active, meaning Kilt Restaurant on University is very active in helping the community. You're always doing community things.
Tons of charity events.
Yeah, lots of charity events. And you just did a 9/11 charity event just this past Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah, and I heard a lot about that event. And you're also doing an event with our organization to raise money for our organization by selling raffle tickets, of course, for a 55-inch flat screen LCD TV. So you're going to start selling those tickets pretty soon, probably by Friday or Saturday, this coming Friday or Saturday. You'll be selling tickets at Kilt to raise money for our nonprofit organization. And you guys are going to be, everybody out there is going to be very surprised. They have excellent food at Kilt, so you're really going to enjoy it. And the TVs and the hospitality of the restaurant is excellent. And they're going to be helping us do a special event being held at the University of Central Florida on March 11th, which is the 2nd annual conference, national conference, intercollegiate conference of students with disabilities. And that conference is set up so that students with disabilities from many colleges, 100 colleges all over the South and the North, will be able to dialogue on the opportunities that students have if they have disabilities. How do they penetrate the corporate world? So thank you, girls. We'll see you at Kilt's tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, and I'll be there to have my grilled chicken breast, okay?
Okay.
All right, we'll see you later. We'll be right back.
My universe is everything I imagine. I want to be a graphic designer. How can I get there? The Academy. It fits my busy lifestyle, and I can learn firsthand from instructors who've been there and know what it takes. Hey, my destiny is a career doing what I love, my way. My choice, my school. The International Academy of Design and Technology.
You imagine? We can get you there. Call 1-800-932-2900. 1-800-932-2900.
First, Susan, thank you. And I got to say a word about Susan Goldstein. As she said, when Glorioso and I and Susan were all elected together in the fall of 2004, Susan alluded to the fact that there's 2 kinds of people in politics. People who want to go be somebody, and people who want to do something to serve their constituents. And she has a daughter with autism. And Susan has invested her life and a large part of her profession in representing children and people with autism. I happen to have a nephew with autism, and it's affected my family, it's affected a lot of families. But she embodied that spirit of people who want to do something to serve people. We're up here to serve people. And I appreciated what Jay said. It doesn't matter what background, or nationality, or gender, or region of the state you live in. We're here to make Florida better for the people who live here, to serve them. And Susan, it is an honor, number one, to thank you for what you've done, both for the state and for Hispanic achievers specifically, but for as well as the community affected by autism. And I want to thank you for that very much. Let's give her a round. I also want to thank Jay and Danny and the work that Hispanic Achievers has done, is doing, and will continue to do. And it represents really the best of the best when you think about it, because it's taking motivated private sector people who care about a particular community, letting them pool together, and government giving them a tool to do things to help that community. And the programs, and like the job fair, the services, and the scholarships that Hispanic Achievers have been doing and will continue to do even tonight as they give away a car to a college student, is the very type of thing that is Florida at her best. And in the political realm, we work best when we all work together. And I want to say a special word about my fellow legislators who are here. And after I mention them all, I'll talk about why it's an impressive example of Florida at her best and what Florida really can be if we achieve the vision that I think, Jay, you touched on a moment ago, which is people helping people to achieve all of their goals, or as many of them as humanly possible, in reaching their maximum potential. First, Senator Gary Sibley. I've known Senator Sibley since before I ran. As a senator from Orlando, and somebody who helped me when I was a young lawyer and governmental consultant, Susan, myself, running around out there, Senator Sibley was helpful. And he serves his constituents with diligence and with passion, and he does a great job. And he's carried this bill 3 years in the Senate. And he and Senator Gardner both worked on it. And it was, as Susan said, it wasn't going to happen this year in the House unless we got in and got involved. And in both business and in politics and in civic and community affairs, nothing gets done by lone wolves. Nothing gets done by individuals. It gets done by teams. And so Senator Sibley and Senator Gardner in the Senate, in the House, certainly Representative Soto, Representative Plakin, Representative Glorioso, especially Representative Glorioso as the chair of the Transportation and Economic Development Committee, we pulled together and we said, you know, this is important. It's a priority. Yes, it's going to be some heavy lifting. Yes, it's week 6 of an 8-week session. And yes, we're going to have to actually really do some major changes to get this done, but it's worth doing. And that's what policymaking and lawmaking is about at its best, is if the law needs to be changed to achieve a worthy goal, we change it. That's why we go up there every year. We don't go up there to let lobbyists tell us how funny our jokes are, things like that. We should be going up there to do what's right. And in this case, Representative Soto, Representative Plakin, Representative Glorioso, and I engaged. And if you think about the people I just mentioned, we've got Republicans and Democrats, African Americans, Hispanic, and non-minorities working together to achieve a worthy goal. And so much of politics today is about us versus them, and pointing fingers at each other, and parties bickering and fighting with one another. And people are tired of that, and I'm tired of that. And the people in this room who made the time to be here tonight will tell you that although that is what a lot of people would have you believe politics is about, it really isn't. It's about people who agree on a goal, in this case, getting the license plate approved, pulling together, and not only overlooking differences, but working together between the House and the Senate, both parties, all regions, to achieve a goal and pulling it off. And so I just want to say a great congratulations, Jay, to you, Danny, to the entire board of Hispanic Achievers. Congratulations, because again, this represents, I think, the best of what we can be, both in the private sector, the civic community, and government when we do our best. And it's an honor and a privilege to be here tonight. I just want to say congratulations.
In itself, it's just another specialty plate. There's 102 specialty plates in the state. What's 103, 104, 105? Really? In fact, when we were working on getting the plate passed, sure enough, we heard that. Why another plate? Why another plate? The reason for another plate is this. About 3 years ago, Danny Ramos came to me and he said, listen, things are getting tough out there. This was 3 years ago, not the economic meltdown of 2008. And he said, we have to start thinking of how to sustain these programs so that we can keep these kids in school, so that we can have job fairs and continue to give back to the community. As a Ford dealer, I knew what it was to give back to the community because it's what made me a Ford dealer. I walked into a store that had been losing money historically, and I was embraced by the community, and that's why I was really successful. So I learned the importance of community because they took me in. So having had that experience, I knew that if we invested ourselves in the community, we would be successful. So we started the challenge of getting a plate passed. And I say a challenge because it is. To be a legislator is tough, tough, tough business. I negotiate the car business every day, and as a legislator, I tell you what, you're walking down the hall, you're on a break, you're in an elevator, there's something going on, somebody's working something, a great project. So I have a lot of empathy for legislators and what they go through. But we started on this task, and we thought, would it not be something special? It started with a simple idea, to just have something that could sustain our current programs that we have. And as we started getting momentum and it started going into the second year, 28 months, 30 months, we kind of looked at each other like, what did we get ourselves into? We had no idea it would take as long as it did. And in the third year, thanks to so much support that we received, community support, Speaker of the House, Dean Cannon, Senator Gary Sibling, House Representative Soto, Representative Glorioso. I could go on and on and on and on. It started picking up momentum. And it was just an amazing process to watch these wheels at work. And we learned one quick thing. Although it may be a worthwhile program, may be a great program, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to pass. It is really some hard, tenuous work. And I just thank our legislators. They were tremendous. We, along the way, were able to partner up with Susan Goldstein, who was tremendous, a lobbyist who helped us, and kind of walked us through, or navigated us through this maze, and it truly was a maze. So that's where we are today. The Blake passes, and it was that look of, oh my God, now what are we going to do? And Danny and I were elated, excited, and yet a little bit of us was like, until we see that plate, until we see that medal come off the press, we're not going to believe it. And it took us about a week or so until it hit us. We would text each other every night, we got a plate, we got a plate. And it was kind of funny because one guy would be down and the other guy would be up, we got a plate. And it's like, okay, now what do we do? So it starts the marketing and starts bringing it to the community. Something that's important to not only Danny and myself, but the 14,000 members is this. As Latinos, we are trying to forge a better relationship amongst ourselves. Historically, the different dialects, different communities, don't play that well together. It's just traditionally, we haven't had a forum with which to come together for one cause. And we're hoping that this plate is going to be it. And that's why we started a grant council. Lou Soto is leading the charge of the grant council. He'll come up and speak to you a little bit more about that. But to us, it was really important that no one gets left behind. It makes no difference whether Mexican, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Venezuelan, Cuban, it doesn't make a difference. We're all the same, we're all in this one together. And we'll go a little further to even say this. As Latinos, we know a lot of the way was forged by the challenges that African Americans have had in this country. And we also want to give back there. One of the things today we'll be doing is, one of the cars, we sponsor a Car for Students program, thanks to Senator Sibling. And one of the cars that we're going to give today is to an African American student. And we don't want to get caught up in the brown-black thing. We want to do the right thing for the right reason. We're going to give back to the community. And something to be proud of. And so, if you ask what's in it for me, that's really what's in it for me. Telling my kids I'm a car dealer, okay, great. But to tell them the things we've done, and the sponsorship, and the students, and the cars, and the grants, and we're giving scholarships to students to Ana Mendez University and to Valencia University, those are really the key things, and that's the legacy we're looking to leave. Danny's been doing this for 27 years, so I'm kind of riding his coattails on a lot of this, because he's done some tremendous things. So I'm excited to be a part of it, and my commitment to you, to the community, is that we're going to do this right. It's really important that we give it back, the programs are sustainable, and that when people look at it, it's something they're proud of. Because traditionally, they start off as a good idea, and they end up, somewhere else. And that's why it's important to us to have this grant council. And it's a grant council that's statewide. Because as we went through this, I'll share this with you. Apparently there aren't too many Latinos in Pensacola. Who would have guessed, right? But there might be one or two out there, and they might need some help. So we want to be able to give them that opportunity that they can still apply for a grant from us. And it doesn't get niched somewhere else because somebody says, you know what, there's only 5 of them over there. They're not going to make too much noise. That to us would be a failure of the program if that happens. And that's why we entrusted that responsibility to Soto, and he'll come up and share a little bit more about that. But on behalf of Danny and myself, I want to thank you for coming. Thank you for the support we received.
It's 4 o'clock, you want to dial in?
Yeah, these calls would go a lot better if we had an office.
This is our office.
This is your daughter's dorm room, Bob.
Listen, we have internet, telephone,
Dorm room.
lounge. It's all free.
Could just do business at FedEx office. They've got Wi-Fi, workstations. A lot of them are open 24/7. It'll still save us an overhead.
Hey, baby. Here, give me sugar. Got a room.
Technically, this is her room.
Hello, we're on.
We understand. You want less overhead. FedEx office.
And now we have with us Teresa Jacobs, who is actually running against Bill Siegel. How are you, Teresa?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Welcome. And what is the difference between you and Bill Siegel?
Oh, I'd say it's night and day, but maybe that's not a great analogy. I think we're very different. We have very different styles, and I think we have a very different perspective on what public service is about. I got involved because of a local issue that affected me, a road through my neighborhood, and I felt like Orange County wasn't listening to regular people like me, and were making decisions without really taking input from citizens. I got involved not thinking I was ever going to run for office, but just representing a group of neighborhoods. And the next thing I knew, a couple of years later, I said, you know, maybe if I served on the commission, I could have a greater impact. And that's what I care most about, is making government accountable, responsible, open to everyday citizens, creating an environment where people begin to trust again in their government, making it fiscally responsible, taking the backroom deals out of the equation, just creating a real sunlight onto what we do in Orange County government.
I was driving down by City Hall, and I'm going to put this on so you can take a look at this picture.
Okay.
And I stopped and I took this picture, put it on, and this picture is a picture of the guy who's running against you. I actually put up a sign covering up your sign right across the street from the City Hall. That seems to be, you know, typical of campaigning here in Central Florida, and it has a lot to do with the sensitivity and the ethics of political campaigns. And I think that most Central Floridians are tired of ethics, of the values that a lot of politicians have.
Yeah.
How long have you been involved in politics now?
I served for 8 years. I first ran in 2000, so I served 2 4-year terms and was term limited. And you know, you say that's typical of campaigns and politics, and maybe it is, but it shouldn't be. That's not the way to run a campaign. And what we project during campaigns says a lot about who we are and how we're going to serve the public. So we put our sign up there. We had the legal right to put the sign up there, and about a week later, they put their sign right in front of ours. And I think that says something.
That's a reflection.
It's a reflection.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be like that, and you'll never see one of my signs up in front of another candidate's signs. That we're not going to stoop to that level, and you're never going to see an ad that has a false word in it. Because if I have to lie to get votes, then I don't deserve to be in office. So what you're going to hear is the absolute truth out of my campaign every time.
What do you think the biggest issue in Orange County is right now?
Oh, biggest issue is unemployment and jobs. Oh my gosh! There's hardly a second, a close second behind that. But if there is a second, I would say the second is ethics. Is the fact that elected officials, it's called the public trust for a reason, and there needs to be a serious responsibility to the public when people take office. They hold an enormous amount of power. I think a lot of people get a little confused about it. They think, well, federal government, that's really important and powerful, and state government, and local government, not so much. But the decisions that we make at a local level, they influence our quality of life, our day-to-day living, our tax structure tremendously. And we can influence local government as citizens tremendously. So it excites me to serve at that level, but there's also a lot of money and a lot of power and a lot of potential for corruption. So don't underestimate what is happening in your own backyard, and we all need to be vigilant, and we all need to be involved, and we need to hold elected officials extremely accountable.
People that are familiar with politics in Orange County say that there is almost a syndicate kind of environment in politics in Orange County. Do you feel that? Is that true?
Yeah, there are. I call it the 1,000 insiders. I don't know the real number, but there's a small group of people in this community that are very influential in the political process, and they're very influential when it comes to fundraising. And so there's a power structure, if you will, in this community that wants to remain in power, and that's a lot of what's at stake in this election right now.
Do you believe that power structure is either corrupt or bordering on corrupt? Straight up.
Oof. I think there are examples of corruption. I don't think that most people that are involved are corrupt, but I think there are examples. And I think the perception sometimes is as bad as reality. But that desire to control the political outcome and the political process. takes away from what government's supposed to be about. It's our government. It's all of our governments, and I want to return it to the people. And I know that sounds cliche, but I spent 8 years working on that, and I have one initiative after the other that I can point to that demonstrates that these aren't just words out of a politician that wants to win a campaign. This is what I did for 8 years.
Mm-hmm. How do you perceive you're going to try to help people find jobs in Orange County?
Well, it's a very challenging task ahead of us. Couple of things that I want to do differently in Orange County. One, we just rolled out today, and that was an economic incentive program for any small business that wants to expand. Right now, it's very hard to find the capital to expand a business at all. And we do have companies that want to expand. So if we have local companies that are looking for venture capital, money that they can borrow, I want to tap into a program that the state has, the economic gardening program, that provides low interest loans for targeted industries. The other thing that I just rolled out this morning too was an option for people that are expanding their businesses that are going to provide 10 or more jobs, local jobs, that we would give them a tax incentive. In other words, they wouldn't have to pay taxes for anywhere from 3 to 5 years on the expansion of their business. Any new taxes that would have been generated, they're relieved of that for 3 to 5 years, so that we can make it more affordable for businesses that are right here locally to expand.
Okay. And what about education? We have a multicultural audience here, and the Hispanic community is running into a problem right now because they only do bilingual ed up to the 3rd grade.
Yeah.
So if a student comes in and he's in the 4th grade, he's sitting in a class where he doesn't understand a word of what's going on. I'm talking about new immigrants that are here legally.
Yeah. No,
what do you think of that?
It doesn't work. I mean, it's not acceptable for anybody. When kids come into a classroom at any age, there's got to be an opportunity for them to learn the language as they acclimate to the school and to the education system. And it's not an unlimited period of time, but we've got to have that training and that education available to them. It's important. It's important to every student matters, and it's also important to our whole culture in this community.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, we're running out of time. I know that you are very limited on time, so I invite you back so we can spend a full half hour together.
I would love to.
Okay?
Thank you.
And I just got an email from your counterpart, Bill Siegel's office, which it says, you guys going to give equal time to the Bill Siegel campaign to address the many distortions pushed by Anthony Suarez, and that's regarding the Fernandez situation. And yeah, I'm interested in hearing from you. My phone number is 202-905-3600, and we'd like to hear about that. I wish you all the luck in the world. I hope to see you back. You're invited back.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
my
you so
pleasure.
much.
Good luck on the campaign.
Thank you. And I'll be tuning in to watch that too.
I want you to come back so we can spend more time on the issues.
I do too, and I want to thank you for the role that you play.
Well,
you are so important in keeping government honest and keeping campaigns honest. So thank you.
We give everybody a fair shot, but what we will do is we will set fire to anybody who is corrupt.
And you need to,
okay.
and we all need you to. Every citizen of Orange County too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll
thank
see
you again.
soon.
Thank you.
Come back anytime.
Okay.
Danny Ramos, Hispanic Speak Out, and we'll be back in a moment.
Stop hunting. Start finding. Choose the AT&T Real Yellow Pages with complete ads and up-to-date local listings to find just what you need.
Hi, this is Danny Ramos again, and welcome back. And I want to introduce you to Migdalia Fernandez. Migdalia Fernandez is a writer, a journalist, and she is now taking on the role of director of the Florida Hispanic Press Association, which is a brand new organization of mostly Hispanic language journalists here in the state of Florida. Welcome, Migdalia. How are you?
Thank you, Danny, for having me here. It's a pleasure for me to belong not just to this organization, but just to be part as a guest on your show.
Well, you're going to be here a lot. You're invited to come back here a lot. The Hispanic Florida Press Association. Tell me some of the people that are involved.
Well, Danny, we have a lot of good people and a lot of very good professionals involved in this organization. We have mostly they're journalists or people that are involved with the media in somehow, some kind of way. We have people that belong to Bratva Film Group, which is an international company. We have people from Channel 13. We have people from Channel 2. we have Telemundo, we have Univision, we have people involved from the Miami Herald. We have people that are actually, they don't belong to Florida, but they want to be part of the Florida Hispanic Press Association. And just to give you an idea, it's not only Hispanic journalists that are in a Hispanic-speaking media outlet. There are also people that are Hispanics, but they're working for an Anglo or any other kind of media outlet as well.
Mm-hmm. The association was, why was this association started?
Well, we saw the need in Florida for uniting all of the journalists in a group of people that actually understand each other somehow in their own professional way. We want to regulate not only the ethics in journalism, but also we want to go a little step beyond and something that has never been done here before. This is something very important. We're trying to create the very first Florida press credential, which is going to be accredited by the state. It's something that it doesn't exist here in Florida. There's other states that have their own press credential, but we don't have it here. And I think we see the need not just because of our profession, but also for security out there.
Mm-hmm. And I understand that you guys are, which I'm a part of, and I'm asking you the question, although I know the answer already, because I'm working with you. There's going to be a conference, I think it's in February.
It's going to be on February 25th, and it's going to be at the Sheraton in downtown Orlando. We're actually getting ready. We're going to do a lot of workshops. We're not only going to invite the professionals, but we also are looking forward to stimulate the education in the journalist profession. And we're going to try to get high school students, not only high school students, but also students that are in colleges, and we want to do workshops with them, get them to mingle with the professionals that are out there in the field so they can learn and they can get inspired also. We're going to try to give scholarships, we're going to try to place them in internships, and we're also going to have mentors for them to work onto different kinds of media broadcasts, media print, and other areas of the media.
Mm-hmm. There's going to be a luncheon.
It's going to be a luncheon as well, and we're going to do an award ceremony.
You're going to do an award ceremony?
Yes, that's correct.
So you're going to honor journalists who have gone not only totally professional, ethical. I think that the word ethics is going to play a big role in this. You know, I think that particularly in third world countries, the press has always been controlled. The press has always had to bend over backwards to say things that the journalists may not want to have said, but with a gun in their head, they have to say it.
That's correct.
And what we want to do is kind of get to a point where that mentality is totally erased from Hispanic journalism.
We believe in the freedom of press. If it was not because of the freedom of press, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here being the advocate or being the communicator between a story and the general public and the general media. And what we are here for, we want to get the regular ethics. We want the people that is the communicator to have the right skills and the right tools to be able to communicate the story the right way.
Okay. And the conference is going to be when? February 25th?
February 25th.
Okay. And that's going to be at the Sheraton?
At the Sheraton in downtown Orlando, right next to the Bob Carr and the new Amway Arena.
Okay. And we'll have the telephone number on the screen and also an email address on the screen that if you want information on how to join the group or if you want information on the upcoming conference, you'll be able to contact us. Just contact the telephone number on the screen and we will get you the information. Thanks, Migdalia.
Thank you, Danny.
We'll see you so much again. It's going to be a pleasure working with you.
It's going to be a pleasure working with you as well.
Okay. This is Danny Ramos, Hispanic Speak Out. We will see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.